Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. The National Education Policy 2020 marks its 5th anniversary this month. To review its implementation and align higher education with the vision of Viksit Bharat at 2047, a two-day conference of Central University Vice-Chancellors was held in Kevadia, Gujarat. Speaking at the inaugural session, Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan highlighted key milestones. Total enrolments have risen to 4.46 crore, a 30% increase since 2014-15. Female enrollment has surged by 38%, with the gross enrolment ratio for women now surpassing that of men. There's also been a sharp rise in PhD scholars, especially among women, and greater participation from the SC and ST communities. The minister urged universities to adopt a students-first approach, focusing on growth, skilling and innovation. He also outlined the Panch Sankalp, the 5 resolutions of NEP 2020, as a guiding vision for creating an inclusive and globally competitive higher education ecosystem. So to better understand how the national education policy is reshaping India's education landscape and what it will take to achieve the ambitious target of 50% gross enrollment ratio in higher education in the next 10 years by 2035. Joining me now are 2 distinguished guests who bring deep insight and experience to this critical conversation. Let me welcome on the program Dr. Mrs. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General, Association of Indian Universities. Dr. Mittal, thank you very much for your time. Welcome to Sansad TV. I'm also delighted to welcome Professor Sharat Sinha, Head Department of Teacher Education, NIE, NCERT. Dr. Sinha, glad to have you with us on the broadcast as well. Dr. Mittal, let me begin the program today with you. And first, let's reflect on the 5 years of implementation of NEP 2020. So what we know is that this reform envisioned a holistic, multidisciplinary higher education system. To understand how far have Indian universities come in implementing this vision over the last 5 years?
Thank you, Tina ji. The National Education Policy, which came on 29th of July 2020, after 34 years, is a very, very forward-looking policy. And it's a very, very democratic policy because it has been formulated after taking into account lakhs and lakhs of people at various levels, not only academicians, but even non-academicians. So the policy had very many changes, both at the structural level, at the, say, overall structure of higher education, then universities, colleges restructuring, program level restructuring. So for the first time, we have said that we don't want single faculty institutions. We want multi-faculty institutions so that the students get a choice to study whatever they want as per their passion. Right. So slowly, most of the universities are becoming multi-faculty. And then there were many universities which were multidisciplinary already. But in true sense, if you talk of sense of national education policy, multidisciplinary also gives not only having these departments, but also giving choice to the students to choose various subjects. So sometimes the universities have many departments, the students don't get the choice to choose from various departments. But now many universities, they have implemented the national education policy through their academic council, executive council, and now the students are getting the choice of choosing a subject of his or her own choice through the various subjects available in that university. So multidisciplinarity is happening. Entry and exit. The policy talks about multiple entry and multiple exit, so that after a student, 1 year student gets a certificate, after 2 years they get a diploma, after 3 years or 4 years they get a degree or degree with honors or research. That is also implemented by most of the universities. 4-year degree program has been implemented by most of the universities. So many aspects of national education policy are being implemented, but they are being implemented slowly. I mean, national education policy itself had many different timelines for various recommendations to take shape. So on that line, if you talk, a lot of implementation has already happened.
Absolutely. We'll talk about how we can further align this reformative measure as well as the education system at large to the Viksit Bharat goal as well, how we can achieve the short-term goal of increasing the GER by 50% in the next 10 years. We'll bring that all in the conversation in due course of the program. Let me go across to Dr. Sinha, get her perspective on how the NEP put strong emphasis on foundational literacy. To understand from you, Dr. Sinha, how is the teacher training ecosystem supporting this goal envisioned under the NEP 2020, and how much progress have we made by far?
With this very forward-looking policy, a lot of reforms are happening in the field of school education also. And as Professor Mittal also pointed out, in the higher education landscape, changes are happening. And of course, the policy dissemination has been done in the length and breadth of the country. Most of the corners of the country are aware of the progressive nature of the policy also. And of course, when this implementation, as you ask about, there are a lot of work which have been done in the field of bringing out national curriculum frameworks. Post NEP 2020, a document named Sarthak had come up, which had the implementation guidelines, and the tasks were very nicely depicted in that Sarthak document. And most of the actions have been taken, tasks are in process. The National Curriculum Framework Foundation State has been Foundation State has been launched. National Curriculum Framework for Secondary Education is in place. National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education is about to come, and even the National Curriculum Framework for Adult Education that is also about to come. And we have Ullas, a program for it is now renamed, the adult literacy renamed as Ullas. Now this is after a major consultation process which has been held up to district level, up to the ground level, and NCF for foundational state has come up as a historic achievement because it focuses on improving foundation literacy and numeracy, and NCERT has developed guidelines under Viksit Bharat that was launched on July 5, 2021 to ensure that every child in the country necessarily attains foundation literacy and numeracy by the end of grade 3 by 2026 and 27. A very ambitious program called Vidya Pravesh, a 3-month play-based school preparation program for grade 1 children as per NEP 2020 recommendation has been developed, and this is to bring in the children. It helps the teachers to ensure that all the children are exposed to a warm and welcoming environment when they enter grade 1. Then foundation literacy study, NCERT has also conducted various foundational literacy studies. First ever large scale foundational literacy study in March 22, covering approximately 86,000 grade 3 students from across 10,000 schools and in 20 languages. And we have also brought out primers. Like multilingualism is a very much emphasized aspect. So for the early years, the education has to be in the mother tongue. So NCERT has brought out primers also in more than 100 languages for the early school students. So that is a progress that is done right from the foundation state. National Curriculum Framework for Secondary School Education has been brought out, and now NCERT is in the process of aligning, bringing out the books for school education, aligning with the national education policy initiatives, and a very futuristic vision that has been envisaged in the National Education Policy 2020.
That was a comprehensive list, Dr. Sinha. Thank you for making us aware about some of these programs that have led to the kind of transformation the Union Minister was speaking about at the VC's conference in Gujarat. But you mentioned how the NEP emphasizes on mother tongue, local language instruction in early education, something that's hallmark of the NEP 2020. But help us and our viewers understand how the teachers specifically are being prepared for multilingual classrooms. What challenges are also emerging, because this became a bone of contention, but the challenges at the same time, how are they adapting towards effective implementation of this particular policy?
Basically, the first effort which has been made in that direction is to make available the literature in various languages. Because the availability of literature, in fact, one big hurdle towards multilingualism is non-availability of literature in regional languages. So this is being done on a war footing. Resources, curricular resources and textual material are being translated into regional languages by the states, and even the NCERT has taken up a lead in this. So this availability of material ensures the teacher also to address the issues in regional language. That is number one. Number two, in the early years, the students, they learn better, and if they are provided, we are in our teacher preparation programs and also in capacity building programs, we are promoting the teachers to give a flexibility in understanding the languages of the locals and promoting, like it's not reprimanding them and saying them you have to speak in English or Hindi or any other language. It is promoted even, and the programs like Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat, in which many languages there are various initiatives, like children at schools, they speak 10 or 15 sentences, workable sentences in other language, and they make pairs, they learn each other's language. So these are major initiatives which are being taken up at the school levels also. And even the teacher, when the policy emphasizes on multilingualism, so everybody has a lot of love for his or her language.
Certainly.
So when that respect goes for other language too, that gives a better and democratic picture in the classroom, I would say, and more understanding and respecting of other cultures also.
Okay. Dr. Mittal, I'll come back to you and touch upon one of the NEP's most ambitious goals, which is to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education. We heard from the minister about the transformation and about the results that we have seen in the last 10 years. He emphasized on how the total student enrollment has gone up 30% since 2014-15 to touch 4.46 crore rupees. And what's heartening to note is that female enrollment particularly has grown by 38%. Now, our ambition is to take GER up to 50% by 2035. So, are we on track? If not, what structural reforms may be needed to get there? And I ask you this because you're part of the system, you understand the challenges, but at the same time, you also understand the policy approaches that will perhaps need to be accelerated to help us realize that short-term goal.
Thank you, Tina ji. As you know, that the gross enrollment ratio right now is around 28.6. We want to reach 50 by 2035, which is a 10-year goal. Not very easy, but we are pushing very hard to achieve that goal. First thing, we are very happy that the gross enrollment ratio of women is higher than the men.
Yes.
Rise only by 0.2%, but that too is a significant thing, that by 0.2% we are higher in for girls rather than for males. And then there are a number of ways in which the gross enrollment ratio is, the recommendations of the NEP are being implemented to gross enrollment ratio in multiple ways. One, more universities and colleges, more private universities and colleges, having a lot of open education, because we cannot teach everybody in physical brick and mortar structures. We can be using the online education. So many online education providers are now there. Earlier they were only open universities, but now as per the National Education Policy, the regular universities are given an option that they can also teach through the online mode. Online programs are given validity. Earlier it was not there. So online plus traditional method, both will be there, and it will increase the gross enrollment ratio. And second thing, when we talk of gross enrollment ratio, we talk of the ratio between the people who are enrolled in, students who are enrolled in higher education, divided by the total number of persons in the age group of 18 to 23. But out of that, how many are eligible to get admission in higher education? Only the ones who are past 12th class. So if you see eligible enrollment ratio, that means if the eligible population is counted in the relevant age group of 18 to 23, then already our enrollment eligible enrollment ratio is around 67%, much beyond 50%. So that means if we have more eligible population with us, then we will be sort of just very swiftly walking towards the goal of 50%. That means the problem is more at the school education. The problem is more at the level of pass outs in the terms of number of students who are passing out of 12th class. So if we have more 12th class outside, the transition rate is around 80%. Many students are going to higher education, and now we have also integrated skill education with the higher education. So what I feel is achieving that goal will not be difficult, but more emphasis has to be given on skill education, and our issue will be accommodating higher education accommodating more students in higher education rather than creating an expansion. That means accommodating the expansion. Expansion will automatically happen because of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, because of right to education. There are many ways in which school education is being promoted and the number of dropouts are being decreased. So as soon as that happens, the higher education will ultimately increase on its own. We don't even have to do extra efforts. We just have to accommodate expansion. So I don't think that there will be any difficulty, and we'll be achieving the 50%, because most of the developed countries are having a ratio of something like 60, 67, 68, 70%. And ours also, EER is 67%. Although the GER is 28%. So the gap is a very big gap, and if we reduce that gap through promotion of school education, higher education will automatically get a lot of students, and the GER will not be a distant dream. It will be very, very easy to achieve.
So hopefully the discussions and the deliberations that have taken place at the VC's conference will look into this aspect as to how to accelerate and how to devise ways to realize this goal of enhancing the GER to 50% in the next 10 years. You spoke about the use of technology and online learning as well, Dr. Mittal. So for better understanding of our viewers, talk to us about how digital transformation across the higher education institutions in India has taken shape, especially since the implementation of NEP 2020, and to realize or to align these higher education institutions to our 2047 goal. How prepared are we for large-scale implementation of, say, hybrid learning models?
So national education policy itself talks about technological integration with the higher education. For the first time, a separate forum called National Education Technology Forum has been created. Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe is heading that forum. And in that forum, we are talking of the ways in which technology can be integrated with higher education. We already have SWAYAM, which is India MOOCs platform, which runs curriculum-based programs for the students. So there are courses, MOOCs courses, which the students can take, and 40% of the courses in a regular program can also be taken through the SWAYAM platform. That means integrating the conventional education and the online education. In a regular education program, also 40% can be done from online mode. There are fully online programs in which 100% education is provided through online platforms. There are many platforms which are available for that, many universities who are doing it and doing it much more efficiently. And I think the way we are teaching, so now with the advent of technology, especially AI, the way we are teaching is totally changing. Earlier we were using a simple lecture method of teaching. Now we are using a personalized learning approach in which each student is taught at his or her own level. That means the caliber of each student is seen, and each student is taught at her or her own level by using the AI techniques. So we are doing capacity building of the teachers on using how to use the technology as well as AI. At AIU, where I am coming from, we have established something like 80 centers all over the country. Mm-hmm. The primary objective of those centers, called AADCs, Academic and Administrative Development Centers, the primary objective of those centers is to teach the teachers, do the capacity building of teachers on how to use technology for teaching, learning, research, and governance. Right. So that is something very important. So technology is being used for teaching pedagogy. It is being used in curriculum. It is being used in form of learning, means online education or conventional education or hybrid education. So technology is a very big sort of breakthrough which is coming up, which will help us in achieving GER, expansion, quality, because in remote areas we cannot have quality teachers every year. So through technology, the best teachers can go to even remote areas, even rural areas, even backward areas. So quality education for all is now the slogan, not education for all, quality education for all. And this is now very easily possible using the technology.
Certainly, because we do not want that while we enhance access, we compromise on quality. That is something that we have to also maintain. A question related to keeping pace with the rapid advancements in technology. Dr. Sinha, I'll bring you in here and get your perspective perspective, because alongside technological development and the rapid access to technological devices, continuous professional development for teachers is also a critical pillar, because you have to keep pace with the changing time, the changing technology. So talk to us about the mechanisms that are in place to ensure that the in-service teachers keep pace with NEP aligned expectations on both the technological aspect as well as the teachers keeping pace with the technological aspect.
Thank you, Tina ji. Continuous professional development has been something which has been emphasized in the policy, and 50 hours of mandatory in-service training or a continuous professional development for every teacher every year has been mandated in the policy. And this also becomes important that because the huge task force of the teacher, in order to bring in the NEP into practice, we have brought up that the policy brought up the integrated teacher education program, that is the ITEP, which is being piloted at across 62 institutions, including the IITs, NITs, and various state and central universities, apart from various institutions also. As Professor Mittal also pointed out, that now the focus is more on multidisciplinarity. So now, in order to update the existing teacher force to align itself with the national education policy, continuous professional development is something which is very, very much needed. And for continuous professional development, lot of initiatives have been taken place. Technology has come up as a big game changer.
Right.
There's launched and around 42 lakh teachers have completed NIShtha, approximately 42 lakhs online and offline mode for NIShtha elementary level had come up. Now, at that time it was named as elementary, then for secondary level, and then the NIShtha Kaushal has also been launched by Honorable Minister for Vocational Education. There are various types of NIShtha which we had, the Ministry of Education had launched, and it was part of mega training program for the teachers, largest, I would say largest in the world, and it included almost 18 modules with guidelines, primers, training package, and a QR coded e-content. Now this is also, this NIShtha program, you'll be happy to know that it's being conducted in more than 11 languages that include Assamese, Bangla, Bodo, English, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Odia, Punjabi, Telugu and Urdu. Now NIShtha for secondary school teachers and in the NIShtha for foundation literacy and numeracy was also launched. And then there is the mechanism of certifying the teachers also through the online NIShtha. Currently NIShtha for school administrators, NIShtha Kaushal and other.
In the meanwhile, I'll go back to Dr. Mittal, and because now the time is running out, and I'll have to also talk to her about the Vision 2047 that's been discussed at length at the VC's conference in Gujarat, and that's something which will propel us towards our longer term goal of becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047. So Dr. Mittal, looking ahead, what should be the top 3 priorities for Indian higher education institutions in the next decade, which will take us closer to our 2047 vision?
So in one line, if I can say, it is that India should be a global destination for affordable quality education. So affordable quality education has many terms. Affordability, that is something very, very major, because whenever students go abroad, it is not affordable. But when students come to India, it is affordable. Quality again is very important, because unless the students get quality education, they will not come to us and our students will not go out. So we want, as a Viksit Bharat 2047, that India should be a destination, global destination for quality higher education, whether it is for students, Indian students, or it is for foreign students. So everybody should look India as a destination which is providing quality education and which is affordable. So that is something very, very important for us. And if we can achieve that, India will be a developed nation. Then more and more students will come to India. Right now we have something like 49,000 foreign students in India. We want to increase it to much more population, because we have 4.2 crore students in India, even 1% is there, it should be 4 lakh foreign students in India. Right. So we have to increase it much more, and then we have fixed the supernumerary seats at 15%. So 15% is a much larger number. So even 1% if we are able to achieve at 24/7, that will be very good, that we are having many, many foreign students, and India is viewed as a destination, preferred destination for quality education, because it provides quality education at a lower cost than, say, West or US or these countries.
Certainly, that's an important point. So while we've done a lot in the last 5 years, and especially the NEP 2020 has envisioned and put us on a path where we are running quite fast on multiple fronts. Something that Dr. Mittal spoke about, which is internationalization of our education system. Also, digital learning is central to NEP. Multidisciplinary education is another critical pillar of this policy. But amidst all this, Dr. Sinha, I would like one closing comment from you on how are we ensuring that students remain at the heart of all this transformation? This is one statement that we've heard often. The Prime Minister say that despite the transformation, we have to ensure that the system keeps students at the center of it all. And this was reiterated by the Union Education Minister as well at the VC's conference, that despite the transformation that has happened, despite the ambitious goals that we've set for 2035 and for 2047, we have to shape an education ecosystem that keeps the vision, the aspirations of the students at the center of it all. Dr. Sinha. Yeah,
the students, actually, whatever the books have been brought out for the children, the books have been the various initiatives that the policy envisages. More stress on experiential learning, toy-based pedagogy, sports-based pedagogy, which creates a lot of joy and interest. Integration of vocational education right from standard 6th onwards, bagless days, so many initiatives which makes the school a totally vibrant place to learn, and the children feel welcomed. The PM Shri School initiative, which has been launched recently, 14,500 schools are have to come under the PM Shri scheme, which are state of art and also showcasing the NEP 2020 implementation. I think a lot of steps plus digital integration which is taking place. PM E-Vidya channels for the children to study. There's so much for the children in today's times. Post policy, the children are the center of all the reforms. Student-centric classrooms are there. Student-centric books are there. Student-centric pedagogy is being taught for. In all the continuous professional development programs, we are talking of student-centeredness, to make child at the center of all the reforms, to make the child happy, to make the learning joyful. It is what exactly we are constantly aiming for. All the reforms, all the paradigm shift aims at bettering the student learning and preparing the student for all the futuristic skills and competencies, which we think would be more useful in the coming times in the changing landscape of education.
Absolutely. So the journey has begun with a promise. The NEP 2020 has brought about quiet but significant transformation in the education system. But going forth, if you have to realize the Vision 2047, what may be required is sustained commitment at all levels, greater collaboration. Only then we can reach the desired goals. With that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. Thank you, Dr. Mittal, Dr. Sinha, for joining us with your insights and with your valuable time as well. And to you viewers, thank you very much for your time. That's it from us on this edition of Perspective.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.